Well, I woke up this morning to this. So, there's no leaves, and it was snowing pretty crazy this morning and a little bit last night. But now the sun's out and clear skies, so I'm hoping it melts off, but if any of it does melt off, it'll only be from the sun. The driveway was covered as well, and the sun has melted most of that off, but it's like 28 degrees and it's not getting any higher. So I'm not so sure that's going to happen, but it definitely put leaves on hold for now. I got to go up to my buddy's in a while, and he is going to spray undercoat the plow truck because it needs done. And I need to get a bunch of this stuff, like this walker mower, and the spreader, and a bunch of the other random stuff that's in here that's just taking up space. And there's a hitching for my camper right there. That thing is extremely heavy for that big old camper right there. 34 foot that thing is. You need that big hitch for that. But anyway, so I'm gonna get a bunch of this loaded up into that trailer and go put that trailer in storage because I don't need it anymore this year and I need to get it out of here. The wings are supposed to show up today for my new plow, and I'll have to take that down to Ryan's and dump the plow off in his garage on his level concrete floor to put the wings on, because when you install them you need to make sure they sit at the same exact height as the blade itself, so it needs to be on a level surface. So I don't know when those are going to get in. They're out for delivery, but it's UPS, so they can show up whenever they want. So for now I'm going to get this stuff out of here and load it up into that trailer so that when my other buddy calls, where I store my trailers, that's where my open trailer is too right now. So when he calls and says he's ready for me down there, I can haul this down there and it'll be there, and then the garage will be empty and the trailer will be gone, and then eventually I'll probably leave the dually here for the winter. But then I'll have to go get the plow. And look at, that's a 3-position equipment defender rack set. There will be a video on that. I ordered 2 sets at GIE, and 1 set for my trailer is probably going to go in the enclosed trailer, and I ordered a set for Ryan that he already has on his trailer. But there will be a video on that, and I'll tell you guys all about that when that happens. But for now, this stuff needs to get cleaned out of here. Well, it's not spotless, but I got a lot of it cleaned up and a lot more room. I went over to where I store my calcium. I still have a pallet of it left from last year. And I went over and grabbed 4 bags of that so I can use it here on my driveway this year for when I need it. And that's it. So now I got all this extra room in here. Whatever am I going to do with this room? I may need it to put a new mower in here. Well, as I'm sure you guys can tell, there's a lot of snow on the ground, and a lot of these leaves are frozen, and it's been like this for a few days now after that snow we had gotten, and we've had to, hit them with the backpack blowers, and we've been, blowing all the leaves out everywhere we can. Ryan's just mulching up the last little bit here that was on this lawn, but I went over the whole thing with the backpack blowers and, directing it right at the ground. You got to kind of move slow because you got to break them free, break them off the ground. Otherwise, you can't even back them up, mulch them, nothing. But here we are back at this property again, if you remember from a few days ago or last week when we did this video of this property, one of Ryan's. I went over it and mulched it up first so that we can bag it up quicker. This is one where we got to dump across the street, which I'm going to show you here in a minute where we dump across the street, so you'll see what I mean. I mentioned it in the last video, but less trips across the street is better, so we mulch it up here, and so that way we have less that we're actually bagging up. But you'll see it here in a minute. A lot of this video, all the mowing footage is all sped up. I had over 48 minutes of
footage here, so I had to do something so that it wasn't too long of a video, because I've still been using this tarp bag off the accelerator. The thing has been working really well, and that spot that I taped up on it, actually it was right here at this lawn when I showed you in that video where I taped up that rip. It hasn't ripped since. There's a few pinholes here and there, but nothing big. I go over it with this here and just to pick up all the bulk. This is from them trees over to the left is the thickest side of the yard, it seems, every time. So I go over to pick up the bulk, and then I'll throw just the accelerator back on, and I'll go over it again, and Ryan goes over top of the parts he's doing. But what I do is I keep the deck up a little bit higher. That's how I figured it out, so it doesn't clog the deck or clog the mouth of the accelerator up and lose inflation in the bag. And then what I do is I just drop the deck down and run just the accelerator, and it picks up all the little bit of stuff that was left. So, you know, it's a pretty good system. It works really well.
This is another one of Ryan's monsters. There's still so much in these trees. This ain't even half it. We have a huge pile up there in the driveway just past the propane tank from what we blew out around the house, and the easiest way is we just keep pushing them all up here, make a big pile here, and then we'll come back with a trailer vac and vac them all up. Ryan started blowing out the fence line. We got that pile right there, and he's up to this far, and you probably can't see it, but way up at the road there's a blue garbage can out there at the road. We got to blow out that fence line all the way down, and the pile will be this big all the way down. Actually down there it gets much worse, so the pile will be about 3 foot tall down there for almost the whole length of the driveway, and it goes all the way down there. And he'll keep pushing these up here. He's trying to get the bulk of it off the yard there, because this whole yard's filled with acorns. We got to blow over to that little tree line there. This big gorgeous house here belongs to these guys that own a brewery. It's called Woodcock Brewery, and that place is awesome. It's massive. But he's gonna push the bulk out. We'll blow the leaves up here, and then we'll start blowing all the acorns over to the tree line. And then when we come back, all we'll have to worry about is these leaves. We won't have to worry about messing with them acorns. It takes a while to blow all them over. But that'll, like I said, he'll get the bulk of it pushed up here. I blew it from both sides, the bulk. And so now he'll just push it all up here. And then once he's done, we'll do a quick blow over with the leaves, and then we'll blow all the acorns. It's a lot. This is a big property, and it takes quite a while to do. We're usually here for quite a while. We'll fill his dump trailer up with the leaves that we get out of here. My shoulders are on fire. That 700 is a beast. I watched a video the other day, and some guys were on there saying, what do you really need 1,000 CFM for? Well, listen, Cupcake, when you do what we do up here in the Northeast, 1,000 CFM makes all the difference in the world. And like you saw in that one this morning, when there's a lot of frozen leaves to the ground, that 1,000 CFM breaks them up off the ground. The 700 does pretty good with its 912 CFM, but the only people talking crap about that CFM and making jokes about it on videos like, oh, what the numbers is this and that. Listen, you're doing it because you're not mechanically inclined and you don't understand the difference, and that's why, because for those of us that are, we know the difference. But here's a pile. And that's from blowing it out all the way down the driveway and then him using the leaf plow to push it up. Like 15 trips, and I kept working it back into a center row while he kept pushing up, and I work it back into a center row. It made all the difference in the world. But you go ahead and push that pile and them frozen leaves, break them loose off the ground so you can vac them up with your little baby blowers, and then you can talk crap to those of us in the Northeast that really know what we're talking about.
So I decided to just mulch up the thicker bulk parts here without the shoot blocker on, and I couldn't believe how far this thing was, this great thing was shooting these leaves. It was 10-15 feet plus, but it mulched up really well. If I'd gone over it a couple more times, probably would have made them disappear completely, but I figured, you know, screw it, we'll just bag it up real quick and finish it off, and so that's what we did. Knocked it out quick and got out of there.